Hello, thank you for tuning in once more time to Stiff Right Hand. This is Stuart Allen, the Dominator. My guest this week will be the owner of IPW, Mr. Billy Wood.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs and voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
When he bangs old Tanya, he shoots a gallon. It's your podcast host. It's Big Stu Allen.
Right enough that bollocks, thank you. Thanks for tuning in again. Obviously overwhelming support for Stiff Right Hand this week and last week. Thank you. This is an extra edition we're bringing to you, part 2. Tanya,
Hello, I'm here and all.
are we going to go straight into it?
We better just jump straight
It's
into
been a very, very, very exhausting. Sorry about the usual upbeat tempo. Is not so upbeat at the moment because this has all been it's all very stressful. These sex allegations in British wrestling. We've had an awful lot come our way. It's very nice that it has come. People have trusted us to be able to do this. I feel personally, after all these years in wrestling, that with my school and the talent that we're producing, and with the amount of people that we're helping back into the business again, we're giving something. Well, I'm giving something back, and that's something that's very important to me. Tarn's obviously got her own reasons, which those are people who followed the show in archives and that have heard about. But it's really important that British wrestling is made of a safe place, and there's so many people wanting to get into it now. Is it such a fucking, is it such a hard thing to ask that our landscape is safe for men, women of any age to come and join in without fear of being lectured on, being touched, being raped, whatever the fuck? So that's where we're at right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I foolishly thought this was just going to begin and end with the Dedler scandal. However, this is merely just the tip of the iceberg, and since that episode, we have since exposed somebody for soliciting an underage girl to send them pornographic pictures. We've had somebody using training as a tool to send inappropriate messages to young girls, including pictures of themselves naked. And just some of the disclosures I've had, I'm exhausted. I can't even string a sentence. Some of the disclosures I've had today have absolutely just knocked me senseless. I feel I've just had the shit kicked out of me today because of some of the things that are being revealed to us. Some of the things about people that we know, people that we've worked with, and just that this has been able to go on for so long. So that is why we are going to use this platform, and we are going to use our status within the business to make sure that this is shut down, and that it is a safe place for everyone who, whether you're a fan, whether you're a female or male, whether you're a trainee, it doesn't matter. This is our business. It should be a safe haven. We should be able to go out about our business and enjoy it and be proud of it. So whilst it is dark, it won't always be this way. But we need absolute transparency now to learn the lessons, to take away the bad element, to kick them out, and to show everyone that this isn't acceptable.
I've been amazed at the response that we've got. I'd like to personally thank my friend PC Rob Tillier and Hastings Sussex Police, who's been incredibly supportive and helpful throughout this. I'd like to thank Julia Hamer, who's Soraya, who has been also on board with us and helpful, as have a lot
Harvey Dale.
Harvey Dale as well. Thank you, Harvey. Come forward, been helpful. The guy we interviewed last week, Crusher Curtis, Dan, again very helpful, and all these people. It's nice to see some wonderful people in the wrestling community be supporting of it. It's also been disappointing at some of the silence that there has been from certain members of the wrestling community as well. And I don't believe that there are people that just remain ambiguous as to this or who've got nothing to say about it. I think silence screams louder than I ever could. Mm-hmm. And that's what I fucking worry about.
It's not a time for fence sitting, and I would say silence from anybody is deeply suspicious.
It's suspicious, and also I've got a lot of people saying to me, we've got a lot of people coming forward and using old names from the past, like, old fucking Shaky, old Shane Stevens, Mad Eli, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Everyone knows about what went on back in the day, but I'm sorry, it's not useful coming up with that shit, because that ship has sailed. There wasn't the social media back then. There's no circumstantial evidence. There's no screenshots. Nowadays we're talking about a different type of fucking pervert. We're talking about often young males who are trying to groom young males, young females.
From positions of power.
From positions of power, which is obviously where they're getting their fucking kicks. But now people are are able to screenshot that, and we've got more evidence via that and videos, and it's so if any of you guys are hoping that I'm going to be ripping the lid off stuff from the day back in the day, no, that's not. I want to do this. I need concrete evidence. We want people out there who are going to be actually prepared to speak to the police, because otherwise you're looking at fucking sour grapes, revenge, and all sorts of things. And we all know wrestling can be a very, very bitter place.
These fail-safes are gonna help us make sure that those that are responsible are held accountable as well, and we will help you talk to the police. We will help you through every aspect. But if you come to us with one of these cases, you come with us to out someone, please understand that we have to do this the right way, that we do have to make sure that there is evidence, we do have to fact check, and we have to do this correctly, because in that way we can protect you and we can protect the business that we love.
And that's the other thing too. I had a lot of people who've they haven't attacked us or said anything nasty, but I'm like, oh, it's a dark day for British wrestling. Oh, it's this and that and the other, and it's why does it have to be this way? Why does it have to be this way? It's always been this way. Can't you just leave it alone? No, we can't. We're not doing it to hurt wrestling. Wrestling is our bread and butter as well. It's something we love as well. Wrestling will survive through this. It's survived in the past. It's survived through this. Anyone who thinks we're out to hurt wrestling, you're barking up the wrong fucking tree. We've been contacted by writers, tabloids. We've sent them packing. If we wanted to hurt it, we would have done so by now. We're not doing this to hurt anyone other than we're wanting to get justice for individuals. And so that's the fucking important thing to remember. So get behind us and get on board with this, because the sooner we fucking sort it, the quicker it'll be fucking over with.
I'm just honestly,
You're just
exhausted.
dozing
I'm so exhausted with it. But this is, we're not going to stop until there is absolute transparency in our business, until this element is purged. And if people are saying, oh, it's a witch hunt, firstly, I have massive problems with anybody using the absolute fucking a terrible atrocity that was that happened to women in history for as an allegory for this purging fucking perverts from our business. Firstly, is incredibly offensive, but it's not that. And if you know something, speak up. And if you know that somebody is behaving inappropriately, tell them, speak up. Make it difficult for these people to get their kicks from the expense of other people, and to fuck with all of our reputations. It's all of us. These people aren't just doing it and it's just like, oh, okay, well, it's that particular promotion. It's all of us. It's wrestlers. We are all getting this reputation, and you should all be fucking angry about that.
Yeah, exactly right. And like I said, last night we exposed a lad called Tom Russon, from what company?
He's promoter of Wrestle Midlands.
Wrestle Midlands, and we received some really nasty stuff from a female who was anonymous, and basically he was trying to get her into the, this was stuff that was, he says was 5 years ago.
It doesn't matter if it
doesn't matter if it's 5 years ago or exactly. It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying that at the time she was 15, and obviously she's come forward now and sent these messages that basically he's there for the what the police told me was that having looked at a bit, they said it is classic grooming technique, and that's 101.
Yeah.
And it was 100%, let's see pictures of you in this, let's see picture in that, no, I'm not interested. And then all of a sudden, without warranting it, a picture of him naked, and then all of a sudden pictures of his dick, and then, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to send that, oh, babe, I'm really, really sorry, can I make it up to you with a drink, blah, blah, blah. Having approached Tom with this, and is it you? All of a sudden, give me 24 hours to prove it isn't, give me 24 hours. I've got a wife, I've got kids. I said, well, dude, I should imagine her dad. She's got a father. We're talking about ruined lives across the board here. So it went out there, and we haven't heard any more from him. But it's with the police in Birmingham. We've received some awful, horrible stuff tonight as well. In fact, we're waiting for court documents to come through about a wrestler who was with, who actually was on the TNA tryouts with Tarn.
Yeah.
And I'll leave this to you because this is one you're dealing with.
I'm not going to say too much about it until I've got that document, because, as I said, there are procedures that we have to stick to. But this one, when I can discuss it, absolutely rendered me cold. And again, when I'm able to discuss it with you and when I pop it up, so please keep an eye on my Twitter feeds at Extreme Scarlet on Twitter. When I have evidence, I will, of course, out these people whenever I can. It left me utterly cold to my stomach that somebody with the history that this person has got was even allowed to perform on shows and be around people and be around vulnerable people and children, and that people knew, and that they didn't cut off all oxygen to it then and there. For me, I'm just staggered. But I will of course talk to everybody about that more when I can, but I am waiting for a document.
Yeah, we've had, like I say, we've had so much stuff. Some which appears to be very strong cases, some not so much. Like I say, we do have police in the wings who are willing to talk to people and have been talking to people throughout yesterday and today. This isn't something that I'm going to be sitting on. I'm not going to be sitting on anyone's information or withholding any evidence. Everything goes straight to the police. And so that's that really. Coming up later on in the show, we're going to be, I'm going to be interviewing Billy Wood. Now Billy, some of you may know, some of you may not know, he used to be my business partner. He has since gone on to promote, we went our separate ways, he went on to promote Fight Nation, and has now purchased IPW from Dan Edler. So basically wanted to know a few things from Billy. Billy's been incredibly, actually very, very supportive.
He's been very proactive.
He's been very, proactive is more the word really, in fact, but he's been very proactive, and I'm really proud of him. He and I had our little issues many years ago.
But, and I'm sure we'll tell you some brilliant anecdotes. He
actually said to me earlier on, he said, I'm really looking forward to this. He said, can we tell some stories? I'm like, bro, you don't even fucking know what stories we're going to hit you with. But I'm really, really happy that I'm back in touch with Billy again, because he's a good guy. He's a successful guy. When we got into it years ago, he was obviously a lot younger, more naive to the way wrestling worked, so we were like oil and water. We didn't really mix well. However, I do credit him with getting me back into the wrestling scene again, because he got me starting EWW up again. So for that, I do thank him, because it was that meeting with Billy that got us back again, wasn't it, when we started running Herne Bay?
Well, that was a little bit just before I turned up in your life.
Yeah, it was. So I've got a lot to be thankful for Billy for.
And also, more than that, he deserves this chance and this platform to distance himself from the things that people are saying about his business. That's
what I said to him. I want to know why IPW's still been called IPW, for a start. Because I think Fight Nation was doing well enough on its own. I don't think IPW has got such a fucking huge legacy that it deserves to still be around after it's been sullied, personally. And then that's that. But like I say, I'll ask Billy all these questions. I'm just really pleased that we're able to talk now on the level, and I'm looking forward to seeing him later on. And like I say, we got some. It's not just all going to be downbeat, guys. So don't think this is all negative, because it ain't. There's going to be some funny fucking stories there too, and I've got some doozies to hit him with too, so which we've been waiting to lay on, put on this show for a while, so you're going to get to hear some belters certainly about a story with Raven and Scotty Too Hotty, which you guys all need to hear about. In fact, I'm glad he's not hearing this now, because I bet he wouldn't turn up for this interview if we knew I was going to ask him this.
There's no fucking way.
But so yeah, coming up later, Billy Wood, guys. So what else we got? I'm going live tonight on Facebook for the first time ever. I've never done that before, but I think it needs to happen. This will already have happened by the time you listen to this. But I think it needs to happen because people haven't listened to this podcast, haven't always had the opportunity to understand where we're coming from, have they? I think it's going to be misconstrued on Facebook and on Twitter. So to have put a face to the name, and that I think will be helpful, won't it?
Yeah, I think so. I just think it's about just showing intention as well, because this is from a place of love for the business that we love, for your reasons to give back and make it a better place, and for my personal reason that I believe that nobody ever in that position should have to feel like no one will listen to them and that no one will believe them. Yeah,
exactly. So any of you people listening who do want to get in touch with us, I think you all know where to come.
Stiff Right Hand, the page on Facebook. You can drop us a message there. Stu Allen on Facebook, or you can DM me on Twitter. I am at Extreme Scarlet, or you are at EWW _Dominator.
Yes.
So just literally just pop us a message, guys. Like we can help and we will help, but there's no free plaster. I'm afraid, and we will work with you, but it is work, and you just have to know. But we will get this done, and we will change this situation, and things will be better.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let's play a song from Conway Twitty now. Oh no, we won't do that.
How about a nice quote?
A nice quote.
A nice quote. How about Martin Luther King Jr., who said,
you can't get fitter than a quick fit fitter.
He did say that. He also said, it's only in the darkness that you can see the stars. There
you go. Great. I'd have preferred Conway than that. There we go.
I fucking hate your country music interludes. I'm gonna have you up. I'm exposing you for your country music.
Don't give a fuck what you put the cunt in country. Don't matter what you think. You ain't one of my listeners. See,
I am. You'll have to listen to you every minute of every fucking day. My life is one big podcast.
Aren't you lucky? You mean you've subscribed to me?
Yeah, subscribe to you trapping off in my kitchen.
I've heard you when you're drinking tea and shutting the fuck up.
Oh, well, I'm all out of tea.
I'm all out of tea. Let's liven things up a little bit now with I'm going to play the harmonica.
Oh, could you not?
Oh, bollocks. Now, let's talk about our show March 24th. Right. We've announced some matches.
We have, haven't we? Yeah, let's do a good
So, March 24th, back at our huge venue, Sussex Coast College.
How huge?
So huge.
Is it so huge?
Huge.
Oh my god.
It's fucking huge.
Is it massive?
Huge.
You guys can't see the demented face that's going with this.
Huge.
Oh, I'm angry with you now.
Not as bad as you first thing this morning, sending them pictures of you after sleep. You look like fucking Alan Partridge. I went right off you. Your face looks about 10 foot long. You look like Easter Island. All of them. You did, you look like fucking Easter Island face.
Well, I just had to break
with
up.
With a lazy eye. This is like how you look this morning.
That's how you look all the time.
Oh,
fucking hell. It was just to break up the
I'm Mr. Franklin! Annoyed?
Weren't to punch you in the face.
I do this impression, right? Let me just tell people.
God.
I do this.
Nobody wants to know about this because it's
so
shit.
fucking
so shit.
Look, we've brought everyone's world crashing down.
Well, I don't care. It's better than
let's
this.
Bring yours down and all. I do the wicked impression of Jules Holland, right? You know when he does his hooting. He does his hooting and he always weekly show called Letter with Jules Holland. You know the bit where he goes, Coming up, here they are. Say Steve. And I do that, and fucking, it's brilliant. You can do anything. You go, Hadaway. Or here they are. Right to the machine. And it's fucking brilliant. So I'd done it in the middle of the night to Tanya the other night, and I think I said, Emily Sunday. And she went, fucking went 11:30. And I said, well, Dave thinks it's really fun. Oh, Dave's not here, is he?
Dave's a cunt as well.
Dave's fucking not here. Fuck, why are you doing that? It's fucking nearly midnight.
No, the thing was, you just like, you settle down in bed and then you just do it all suddenly.
There's the top!
And then it makes me frightened and then I want to kill you.
No. Take a nib of the pliers!
Oh my god.
Oh.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I love Jules Holland. But listen, back to the show, March 24th, right? So we got some cracker matches. We got Critical Mass in a rematch from the match where we nearly legally killed people against Lupo Lee and Grayson Prawn. We've also got
I liked that time that it auto-corrected on your banner and then it said criticised mass.
Criticised Mass. Call that Mass!
Oh, is that your best mass?
Oh, that best mass you got, is it, mate? Oh, it's crap, that mass. Oh.
Right, is that even really a mass?
Oh!
I'm going to lose my shit in a minute.
Ooh. You're alright. Right, so anyway, here we go. Next matchup, we got the return to EWW after 14 years.
Well done, maths boy.
Thank you. Darren Walsh, Thunder.
Yeah, he's alright.
My lovely old tag team partner, he's going to be taking on AWOL, which is going to be a fucking belting good hard
That's going
match.
to be a meat match, isn't it?
That's going to be, or you're going to, if you go to your fridge now, get some cold cuts.
And then hit your head, your face.
I was going to say, get a bit of ham. A nice bit of Haslett or something like that.
No, Hazlett's like too bitter. You want ham, you want something like a nice,
and then
good
slap it across your missus' cheeks.
Go and just try that for the listeners at home. Try it.
That's how that match is going to sound.
Let them know what it fucking sounds
like.
Do
it and tell them Dominator sent you.
It's going to sound like you're a fucking cunt, Stuart.
I remember I was at a dinner once with my old work, and I went up to this vegetarian woman.
No. This is already naughty.
No, it isn't. It is. I went up to this vegetarian woman who was just sitting in my seat, and I said, "Can you move, please, Rachel?" And she said, "No." And I slapped her in the face with a massive bit of ham, and it stuck to her face. She honestly, I didn't know she was vegetarian, so she went fucking spastic.
Good.
No, if somebody hit me in the face with ham, I'd eat it.
Well, you love ham so much.
Yeah, well, fuck them. Anyway,
you think ham's one of the food groups?
Yeah. Ouch!
I want a divorce.
It's fucking great looking at on the something how loud massive that goes.
Every time you talk,
ouch.
The equaliser thing goes, ouch. I'm taking this fucking microphone away from you.
You shut your gums.
Oh, well, okay.
The third match on our... I don't think we're taking this fucking...
no, it's because you're being an idiot.
I know this is some sort of mental release for me because I've been so pent up with paedophilia for the last 3 days.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
That I'm having some sort of chemical release in my head.
It's like a really
that for a change isn't drugs.
Really horrible toxic energy, isn't it? That just sort of like sits in your body and turns it acidic. I've been acid all day.
But the third match...
There is a third match!
It's a debut for... and it's a very big match. It's the main event between yourself...
Oh, yeah.
And... well, he used to be called Josh Shooter.
Skippy.
He's now called Dickie Darby. He's now
Johnny
called
Nines.
He's the Thunder from Down Under. He's the Australian Terror known as Joey Axel. And
Johnny Bonbon as
just
well,
come back from Japan, very highly rated. It's going to be a cracking match.
I think that's going to be a good match.
Cracking well better be.
I'm going to kick him in the jewels.
Good. So it's going to be a cracking show. Like I say, tickets going to be on sale soon via www.ew/wrestling.com.
Do you want a little hand with that?
Yeah, go on, you do it. I don't know.
Tickets will be available soon from Hastings Tourist Information Centre, Scarlett's Cafe, which is my place, and also online at eww-wrestling.com.
And do you know how big this show's going to be?
Huge.
I'm
going. Bye.
Alright, so there we go. Let's now get... You're still here?
I'm still here because this is my kitchen, so you're going to have to...
Well, this is my moment.
Yeah.
But, so look, I'm glad we managed to cheer things up a little bit. Let's go back and let's bring it all back down again now.
Oh, God.
No, so let's go now to my interview with the owner of IPW.
Do me a favour though.
Go on.
Don't bully Billy.
Oh, I love bullying Billy. I want to. Do you know what I want to do? I want to fucking yank his undercrackers up over his head.
No, that's sexual harassment. I'll have to do a tweet about you.
Oh fuck! I'll be on my own show.
Yeah.
I'll
You're going to have to be on your own
I want
show.
to be on my own show. Be on fucking bars saying I've touched Billy Wood's wife once.
Yeah, don't touch him in the pants.
Oh shit!
Do not.
Maybe we're the wrong people for the job here.
Well, no, we're exactly the right people for the job, but there's no amount of the word penis that's ever not going to make me go, penis.
Oh, fucking hell, don't go down there. Right, listen. Fucking stop. That's enough.
Penis.
Oh, Christ, that tweet you put out.
Which one?
You know which one.
The one where I edited the word penis over the penis.
Oh, mate.
Or was it that nobody's ever...
That was Tarn's fucking tweet about the guy who was making excuses. Go on, what did you say?
I said, nobody in the history of the world has ever accidentally sent a montage of their own genitals.
And all I could hear in the background was Vince DiCola's Rocky IV soundtrack to a penis montage. But there we go. Getting hard now. Nah, because I don't think we're probably the right people to be doing this.
No, we are, but...
Are we?
No, to stop sending penis montages.
Who, me?
No, yeah, you, everyone, just stop doing it. It's dirty.
Especially when they look as bad as they do. I'll say his was like a fucking tic-tac.
No one wants to see a picture of your dick, especially a 15-year-old girl.
I thought it was fucking... I'll tell you what, if I looked as fucking bad as he did, he looked like a melted candle, for fuck's sake. I wouldn't be sending my picture to fucking anybody. At all. What are you doing hand signals for? What does that mean?
Just move on.
Oh, is that the fez on the table? Is it time for me to wrap it up? Alright, over to my interview now with IPW's Silly Billy Wood.
Silly Billy.
Giving you your weekly dose of a kick in the nuts. This is Stiff Right Hand.
Right, we're back here on Stiff Right Hand. Here's a moment now I didn't think we'd see. I got here with my old business partner. He is the new owner of IPW, Mr. Billy Wood.
Hi Stu, how are you?
Yeah, very good, man. So thanks ever so much for coming here. You don't need to sit so close to that because it's.
I'm like on top of it.
It's like we're going to have a little kiss and cuddle, isn't it?
Well, it's about time. It's been a long time, Stu. Hasn't it?
It has been a long time. You're the man who, well, most people in the UK wrestling scene who listen to the show now know that you're the man who has taken over IPW. Some people might not know that you and I were business partners, and you're the man who I credit for getting me back into the wrestling again, which would probably was enough to piss enough people off. But you got EWW started again back in, when was it, 2009?
Well, we started talking in 2008.
That's right.
And our first show back was 2009. And that, well, I won't give the credit to the person who did it, but I never forget you calling me up. I got this random phone number. I was, funny enough, I never promoted a wrestling show before. It was my first attempt at it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I did a deal with this guy I found online.
Was this Steve Morocco?
Yes, Steve Morocco.
Yeah.
Well, I say I did a deal. I inquired about a deal, and he tried to sell me a package wrestling show to promote, which I thought great. You know, I was and still am in music. And promote a lot of acts. And
I know you're big Tiny Temper.
Tiny Temper, yeah, was one of mine.
That was when he literally hit the big time, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So I thought, you know what, I want to give. I spent a bit of time at Hammerlock, and I thought, you know, I'd love to go back into British wrestling. I was a big British wrestling fan, and I thought, hey, why not do my own show? So I went to a show in Bexhill. You were actually on, and I decided that I want to run Bexhill, and I wanted to run that venue. So I went to the venue, tried to book it.
Thank you.
And we've got cup of teas. Oh, coffees. There we go.
There we go. from my secretary here.
Let me just say, I've been fucking demoted from funny guy to tea lady, and I've got the hump.
Well, that's Bill. That's what happens when Bill comes round, man. You get pushed out the scene.
Yeah, well, you'll need me for the draw, so.
Absolutely.
Well, so funny enough, that show was one of the first times that Tanya and I had met, actually.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then, so of course, I gave you the call.
You gave me the call.
We won't talk too much about what happened in the call, but it was probably a heated call. I can't remember it that well.
It was, but it started heated, and it ended up you going, do you know what? I really like you. Why don't you come up to the gym and let's have a chat? And I'm thinking, right, I'm going up to the gym because I am a ballsy bastard, and I was very skinny back then as well, sure, as you know. And
we're not exactly Dorian Yates now, right?
well, yeah, no. Let's just say I'm not lifting weights, that's for sure. But I decided to go up to the gym, and it was either I'm going to die or potentially going to find a business partner. And
but always a man to love a gamble.
Yeah, indeed.
Being an Arsenal fan.
Well, yeah.
Well, that was what swayed it for me. You're an Arsenal fan, and to be honest, as soon as we started talking football, don't look at me like that, Tom.
No, I fucking hate you when you do this.
No, if you can't find a common ground with a man over football, then I'm sorry.
That's it.
Yeah, Bill knows that.
But the trouble with Arsenal is they always try and walk it in.
And
See, she gets all her football knowledge from the IT crowd.
there you go. And we had a good chat, I think. And you was like, look, I used to run these shows. Extreme World Warfare was at the time, wasn't it?
Exactly right.
And you explained the history of that to me, and you said, look, let's work together and see if we can do EWW.
It wasn't long in time. I mean, our first show that we did was Herne Bay at King's Hall, when King's Hall was a good venue, and we used to pack it out. It wasn't long into our business relationship that I realised that we were a little bit oil and water in the fact that I'm a big fan of the big men and the gimmicks, and you're a work rate guy.
Absolutely.
And it was something that didn't. It was kind of funny because then we had all my mates on there, like all Flatliner and all the big juiced up guys, and then we had all your guys on there, like Marty Skull, and people like that. And turns out all your guys went on to be famous, and me and Flatliner are still cunting people off. But no, it was they were a nice, interesting mix of the old school and the new school. And for a time, it did work, didn't it?
It did, and you just were crediting me then for bringing you back into it. Well, to be honest, I have to credit you for teaching me a lot of the business side, because ultimately, people, and it does happen. People do get ripped off by the wrestling business if they don't know any better. And I was very lucky to have your guidance in that sense of learning the business, learning what's right and what's wrong, and learning a little bit more about the kind of the business etiquette in the sense of how people agent themselves in getting their offers, and how we deal with that. So, massive credit for you to that, because if it wasn't for that relationship that we built, I don't think I would be promoting now.
Well, it was good because one of the first things I remember you saying to me that sold you or me was the fact that you're a self-made man. You'd done really well in the music industry, and at the time I don't think Tony Temper, he wasn't sort of
no.
And then all of a sudden within months he was massive, and I remember seeing you on the Brit Awards, and I was like, this kid obviously knows what he's fucking doing. What?
I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, this guy Billy obviously is a real deal, and he knows what he's fucking doing. Let's give it a crack. And obviously wrestling is a world away, with all its silly bullshit politics and everything else from the world of music where real money comes into fucking play. So it was very difficult for you to make that transition, wasn't it?
It was massively difficult because I really wanted to put certain ways of people getting paid and how we should do the business. And don't get me wrong, over the years things have got better. Rather than me having to walk around, I was in my early 20s with wads of cash in my pocket throughout the show to then do the whole thing where the boys line up and get paid. Thankfully, PayPal is my dream to just be able to pay. It means I don't have to carry any money.
I think that's the way to go now. And we've done a show recently, a top level show where several £100 got stolen.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
And I remember talking to you about this, and I spoke to Ricky Knight about it, and that's the way it's going to be going now with pay. And I suggest we probably do the same thing, Tan.
What's that?
PayPal.
I was just eating and not paying attention.
Well, there's a fucking change. Sorry, Bill. We'll go back to talking about
for
the nitwits out of this. But yeah, it's the way to go.
It is, and for me, that transition of. It used to concern me because I'm very much a document everything type of guy and make sure that the books are balanced. And sometimes, you know, a little tenner here or a 20 here, and you worry that, hold on, you know, where's that money gone, or is that been accounted for?
It's easily done, isn't it?
And also, you know, not just for us as a business, but for the guys as well, because, you know, not name any names, but many people have been caught up in tax situations because they've not been smart about their business. And, you know, it was a hard transition, and you know, we had some. I can look back now, and some, you know, the great bits were great, but, you know, even some of the bad bits, when I look back now, were quite funny, to be honest. And we should definitely.
It was a shame with the way we parted ways, because I think that was more down to probably your age, because I forget you're so much younger than me, and I think because you were so young and probably at the time a little bit intimidated of me, you didn't fully feel that you could come to me and say, look, Stu, I'm not happy with the way this is going. I want to go my own way. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, looking back, totally. I kind of... Things were going crazy in music at the time for me.
Yeah, it was big, wasn't it?
Massively.
It was really big.
But at the same time, you know, I felt... Yeah, probably... I wouldn't say intimidation, but I felt, you know, a level of, respect, in a sense of, I don't want to let you down. But at the same time, I did... Where it was going wasn't where I wanted to go, because it just wasn't how I foresaw my future in wrestling. And, you know, I think we didn't part on the greatest of terms back then, but then at the same time, we over the years have spoke, and I would say we kind of mended the bridges as such. And I remember bumping into both you guys at Tesco's, actually. And when I was actually a little bit fatter. And I remember she said to me, cool, bloody hell, you've changed a bit. But, you know, I think time's a great healer. And, you know, I was really proud of the fact that EWW continued once I did leave, and went on to, you know, do incredible at that venue, the Hastings Centre, that I went to, and we were working together to try and get, but they wouldn't have wrestling at the time.
No, we just got lucky with that, because literally the pastor who was totally against wrestling, he left. And took on a fellow, funny enough, called Santino, who grew up in the New York area, and his dad used to take him to Madison Square Garden.
Oh, right.
So in the days of Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik. So, of course, he was like, so I literally caught him by luck.
Perfect. Well, you know, these things happen, don't they?
But, I mean, it was due to my short-sightedness that at the time I didn't see the nuances between you loving the work rate star, and I was always so blinkered and set in my ways that I thought my way was the only way. And like now, obviously, the strong style, the work rate style is something that's very, very, I don't want to say fashionable, but it's on vogue. It's in vogue, isn't it?
You have the smallest guy on your roster is your fucking champion at the minute. So if you haven't learned and changed and adapted...
Yeah.
He's changed.
I have changed and adapted, but back then, we're going back a long time. Yeah. We're going back when I was allowing you in the ring before you were ready to be in the ring.
Ready to be in the ring.
And like I say, back then, if I was working with Bill now, it would be smart. I'd be smart enough to say, right, there's room for your way of doing it, there's room for my way of doing it, which is why we're saying to people, if they come to us, because you know, we're a bit more like WWE, Bill's a bit more New Japan. Do you know what I mean? If you want to look at it on the big scale, that's the way you'd look at it.
This just happened because you're both incredibly passionate about your own visions.
Yeah.
And because you're both so passionate and believe so hard in your own visions, that there is only that vision.
Yeah, cool.
And
Great,
you can only apply yourselves to that vision because you both love and believe in it so much. And that's why...
Cool, this tea lady's got some big ideas, hasn't she?
As I said, draw.
Alright, give me a pen.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Johnny's storming it.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Hey, mate, do you want to buy any merch? No, John, nobody does.
No.
But this is why it didn't work, and this is why it wasn't going to work. But I'm glad that now you have a very healthy working relationship now, and for the betterment of the scene, because it's now...
Is that a word?
Betterment?
Yep.
Yeah,
of course
okay, alright, cool. Alright, countdown. But look, let's before we go into all the little ways where we have come together recently to join forces. Let's talk about some of the fun times.
Yes. Well,
Because you, no, you shut up now. It's my show.
Go
Because
for it.
one of the reasons that attracted me to you, Bill, was your beautiful eyes. No, was the fact that you had so many contacts in the American independent scene that you could get over for us. So at the time,
Yes.
we had Raven, who's now obviously the podcast king in his own right, and not doing a lot of wrestling, but at the time Raven was a big draw. We had Scotty Too Hotty. We had that lad, was it Lance Cade? Who died, which I couldn't be helped.
Yeah.
We had
We were going to have the Boogeyman.
well, this is what I was going to talk to you about, because Boogeyman, who's just managed to get himself a Hall of Fame contract, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's got a Legends contract.
he has indeed, yeah.
Although I was talking to my mate Harvey Dale.
Yes, my friend too.
Yeah, Harvey's a good guy.
Yeah.
Harvey, actually, talking about this other stuff we've been talking about, Harvey's been very,
You
very...
like him, you really like him.
Well, funny enough, I'm just going before we go in.
Harvey's a good guy.
Before we go in, actually, me and Harvey. Everyone told me Harvey was a dick. Like,
I've always said I was a dick.
Yeah,
You
you
can't,
know.
you went, you make your own assessment, and I've
Totally.
always gotten very well with him.
And with Harvey, for example, we're both running the show. Well, I run every month in Milton Keynes as well as across Kent. And I've moved my February show from the 15th to the 21st. And he's running a show in Leicester on the 21st. And we use a lot of the same guys.
Yeah.
So instead of me announcing the show and rah, I messaged Harvey and was like, look, I'm letting you know I'm running the show. The same day, XYZ talents are on both of our shows. Let's do something about it. And we have. We worked it out without, he's my guy. We just worked it out. I said, hey, look, I'll put this guy on first.
Exactly. And how nice is that?
It's easy.
Nice and easy and amicable.
Yeah.
But Harvey obviously contacted me about Boogeyman, and he got let down. I remember we got scuffed big time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Luckily, well...
Marty Wright.
Yes, that's it.
Didn't he go missing?
He went depressed. He got depressed and disappeared. But I remember...
And then we were depressed.
No, because we went to Warrington.
Oh yeah.
That was the Warrington show. So at that time, Stu, and I had big aspirations. So I thought, you know what, we're not going to stay in one place. EWO is going to be. We changed the name Extreme World Warfare to Extreme World Wrestling. The new logo and
Which it
stuff.
still is now.
Great, I'm glad.
Awesome.
And we decided to not just stay in one place. We then went to Herne Bay first, and then we booked the Hastings Summerfield Centre. Coventry.
How rough was that area?
Fuck me.
Did you ever? Me and Tom went down to some dodgy Chinese buffet, and I said, "You know, it's bad when the graffiti's no longer in English."
It was
terrifying.
It was a horrific area. But funny enough, I did a lot of shows there.
It was a cool venue.
The venue was cool, but it was right by that council estate. And you had the flats behind it.
Fuck, it was terrifying. It was like going into Beirut, wasn't it?
Never do a recce around that.
And
place.
then Olympia, Liverpool.
Olympia and Liverpool, which I'm still to this day super proud
That's
of.
an awesome venue.
Oh, to run the Olympia and going back into our differentiations.
That was a big fucking show, man.
Yeah, massive.
We had big names on that show. You remember dear old Frankie Sloan.
Frankie,
you had El Ligero. We had a lot of guys that we've not really used before.
Spuds, I love James to this day.
James is a smashing lad, and we had some cracking talent on that show. And it was like a little super show. That wasn't it?
It was, and the Olympia, to run the Olympia, going back to our differences of.
I remember Alex Shane got the ump with that.
Of course he did.
He was like, "Did you fucking steal the Olympia off me?" I said, "No, I didn't." I said, "But you can't say that much, Alex, because you've been doing that for fucking years."
Yeah.
And we agreed to disagree on it. But I've got a lot of fond memories of that.
Yeah, same. And to run the Olympia for me, kind of going back, we'll jump forward and backs and forward. But back in those days, I was a really big fan of IPW UK. I was a really big fan of the FWA and the King of Europe shows and stuff like that. So to run the Olympia at that time was for me, and still is. I'm so proud of that show because I got to run Olympia. And. Yeah, it was also a famous night for me in other ways.
Well, yeah, we would go on to this now because, of course, that show was supposed to have Al Snow on.
Yes.
You brought over Raven for us. Yes. And Scotty Too Hotty.
Yeah.
And we fucking drew big. That was big house.
We did.
But then we did, that was a 3-night tour, wasn't it? We had Coventry.
Yeah.
We then did Liverpool. Then we came back to Hastings. Now, I remember the drive home was about a 6-7 hour drive. I then got pulled over for oh man, I got pulled over for speeding just when we pulled into Battle, and it was after a 6-hour journey, 10 miles from home, and I was like, fuck. And then I remember we got home, went to sleep, and then I got a phone call from you.
Yeah.
Early in the morning.
Very upset.
Very distressed. And I could tell from it, I thought I had a phone call from a...
Sit down for this.
No, I thought it was one of these sex callers. Because I remember answering the phone and I thought, oh fucking hell, what's going on? It's Stu. So I'll let you take the story up.
Yeah, so
you were kidnapped.
Well, technically, yeah.
Kidnapped by WWE superstars.
Technically, you could say that.
You were kidnapped by the Attitude Era.
My childhood. I was captured by my childhood. So the beautiful thing was of that, we had a local partner in Liverpool. So based on the distance and stuff, we couldn't go and promote up there. So through my music contacts, I had a local promoter in music get involved in that show and help us with the logistics of the area, promoting the show in the area. So we get to the venue, and the part of the deal was that these guys would cover venue costs and whatnot, but for that particular show, they would cover the cost of Raven and Scotty Too Hotty. We put up in a lovely apartment. They put us in a lovely apartment, me, Raven and Scotty. Everything was fine. We went for dinner the night before. It was a lovely dinner. It was great. We get... Obviously, I dealt with Raven for a few days leading up to that. Obviously, we had Coventry and stuff, and, you know, back then... And
he wasn't
easy.
It wasn't easy, was he?
No,
because
it wasn't.
He took a little bit of time warming up because he just wanted to sleep.
Yeah.
He was grumpy.
Always. And he would admit it himself back then. He probably still, to some point today, still a bit like it. But back then, at that period of time, he was just...
I know he was in a lot of pain.
He was a lot of pain.
He was in a lot of pain because his knee was fucked and he needed... I know, I could tell he was struggling.
He was. And, you know, and I respected that and left him to it. And so it got to the day of the show... and this is actually a great story in the sense of trust for British wrestlers as well as this Americans. So I get to the venue, we got all the boys' money, like I said, it was cash a lot back then, and then I go to the guys who are paying Raven and Scotty and say, hey, look, I need their cash. Great. And they gave me checks. Cool. So I get these 2 checks and I go to the boys and they're like, we're not having them unless we get our cash. We're not going to perform tonight. So I had all the money to pay our team and pay the venue and whatnot, and ultimately we needed to pay Raven and Scotty or they wouldn't go on the show. So I rounded all the boys up and told them the situation, and fair play to each and every one of them, they agreed to get paid in Hastings because we had Hastings the next day.
That's right.
It wasn't that we couldn't pay them, it's just I had these 2 bloody checks in my hands.
Yeah, no good on it, and it was a weekend.
Absolutely. So they didn't want to do that. So I gave the money to Raven and Scotty to let them cover them for that show, which in hindsight probably alerted them and worried them that they wouldn't get paid in Hastings, I guess. So we had the show went fine. Scott Raven was driving back with me, and Scotty Too Hotty was meant to be driving back with Chris O'Regan and Chris Dixon to Whitney, or wherever it was in Oxfordshire.
Yep.
But then Scotty, for some reason, wanted to drive with me. I was like, cool. So we got the hotels booked. We booked him in Heathrow. Probably another alarm bell for them. And we just started driving down to Heathrow. Now, they start to berate me that Al Snow wasn't on our show. Now, Al wasn't on our show, not because we fucked Al over or anything like that, because we didn't. We just... Bill Bahrains was the agent, and I deal with Bill all the time now, and I've got a great relationship with Bill. We just didn't come to an agreement on the day and the deposit schedule and whatnot. So, whilst he was meant to be on the show originally, he was taken off. Raven took offence to that for whatever reason. Maybe because, he was worried about the check in Liverpool. We're going to London Heathrow to stay. His flight's the Monday. Maybe he's thinking I'm going to dump him there or something like that. On the way, that they were just... to be fair, they were fucking vile to me on the way there. I don't hold it against them, just want to make it clear. It was just a situation. And being young in the business, I also found it was the first time I've ever had to deal with that situation. So I found it very, very tough. Got to the hotel, and Raven decided to keep my car keys. Just so I didn't disappear, right? Which is fine. I then called you, very upset, like, Stu, I don't know what to do. They want the money before I even get to Hastings, I'm gonna have to go to. I'm gonna have to get the money up. We were in Heathrow, so it's Staines. I'm gonna have to go into Staines Town and go and ultimately get their money before I even leave.
Well, all I heard was you saying, you've been kidnapped.
Yeah.
Immediately, those are my.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you guys are supposed to be coming down to do a show in my hometown.
Yep.
So the first thing I did was got on the phone to a couple of nasty motherfuckers I know who said, "Be at the venue tonight because we're going to turn over Raven and Scotty Tuotti."
Yeah, I remember you said, "Don't worry, we will look after it." And obviously, being young in the business still, I didn't know if that was the right etiquette or not. I just went with what was trusted as such. But on the business side of things,
so these fuckers took your car keys.
Yeah. Well, Scotty didn't. Scotty was, to be fair, Raven was driving it at the time, and
I could tell that.
Yeah, and then what happened was, actually, when I got my laptop out of my car, so I got my keys back off Raven. Realised, hold on a minute, he's just taken my house keys. He doesn't know where I live, what town I live in. I could just jump in my car. If I was the prick that I was getting made out to be, I could jump in my car now and disappear. Especially back in those days.
And he's left with a bunch of old keys to nowhere.
Yeah, exactly, to nowhere. But that was never obviously our intention. So I got my laptop, I gave my key back to him, made a big point about that.
Yeah.
And then the next day, even though I had a car outside the hotel, I got a bus into Staines to go and get the money out of the bank. So when they come down from the rooms in the morning, I gave them the money. Now after that, everything was fine.
Yeah.
But I guess it was the way business. I tried to handle business in a professional manner and didn't understand that the checks from our partners in Liverpool were caused so much of a hoo-ha.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do anything wrong.
No.
It was just, it caused uncertainty for them. Nowadays, PayPal, it's great. For example, Abyss. I had Abyss over. Yeah, PayPal my deposit over, the schedule, and then, hey brother, when I land, PayPal the rest.
Easy.
Amazing. Great.
Easy.
It's so much easier. But back then, that wasn't the way, and I didn't know exactly how to deal with it. So it was bloody stressful. Thank God the show in Hastings went well.
Yes.
And thank God we got them back. And fair play to Raven at the end. At the end of the Hastings show, he pulled me aside and said, "Look, I've put you through it this weekend. I've put you through it. If you ever want me back, I'm more than happy to come over." And I was like, "Yeah, nah, no thanks." But
in the meantime, there was a group of nasty-looking cunts who eat babies for a living, standing there saying to me after the meet and greet, "Do you still need us, Stu?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, no, it's all sorted. Go, go." But yeah, I was quite lucky because they might have been going back on a different flight style than the one that they had, the one they turned up in.
Well, I remember we had Doug Williams on that show, and Doug actually drove Scotty back to Gatwick for us, I think, because I fucked to drive that journey back after the ordeal that I had.
Yeah, it was an ordeal.
But but learning curves make you better, and they make you deal with situations in a way that avoids, for example, checks. I never used a check again.
No, I think I was a bit naughty of those guys. Those guys from Liverpool were scallywags.
Oh, absolutely.
As soon as I met them when we came into the venue, I thought, "Oh fuck, who's Bill done business with it?" If there was a vibe in that place, it was a bit fucking.
Absolutely.
It was a bit electric, to say the least.
Then,
so after that, you went off and you were doing your music for quite a long time until you came back and started up Fight Nation.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the story behind that, actually. So I stayed in touch still with the likes of Simmons and Andy Simmons, Marty Skell, Steve Linsky, and a few others. So I was staying in touch with them. WME, the agency that I ended up working for, which is a massive Hollywood agency, represent the WWE. So I would always go to the WWE shows, because I was just generally looked after. And I was going to the WWE house show at Wembley, and I had the itch, and in the years previous to that I had the itches to come back and do something, but it was all about the right time, the right look, the right film. And Marty Skell was going, and he was like, hey, he saw our status on Facebook, was like, hey, let's do dinner. So we had some dinner beforehand, and Jimmy Havoc was there, and we were talking about the British wrestling scene, and what they were saying was like, fuck, this is what I always wanted to happen. This has got to be the perfect time to come back. Convinced me to come back, and I did. And I set Fight Nation up to kind of put my concept of what I believe. Because what I loved was, like I said, the IPW of the days of the Thrillers with Mark Haskins and you know Joel Redman and whatnot, the IPW of the Zack Sabre Juniors, the Mighty Skulls, that style, right? That's what I loved.
It's like a British Ring of Honor style of wrestling.
Absolutely. So I thought, do you know what? This is a great time. So I went ahead with it. Encountered issues to start with, but got through it and started to build a bit of a brand. We did some great shows across Kent, you know, in Eastbourne as well, and started to build something pretty nice. Obviously down in Weymouth, we kind of tried to pick areas that not many people were running, and you know, and the difference was because we wasn't. The one thing I always hit a glass ceiling on was we weren't. Whilst we were putting on these great shows, I felt like we were kind of not hitting what my target audience should be, if you know what I mean. I wasn't getting through to the fan base that appreciate that style as much as I wanted to with Fight Nation. So we got to it, we hit a ceiling, and then I purchased IPW.
Now, this is where the story changes.
Yes.
Because obviously you've been privy to what's been going on
Absolutely.
this past week with the sex scandals that have been going on in the UK.
Yep.
And very bravely, I might add, agreed to come on here to talk because Dan Edler, who's been very central to a lot of these allegations, was obviously known for running IPW. Now, a lot of people now said, you know, oh well, we're not going to IPW, we're not going to do this and do that, and I wanted it to be put out there that he's no longer anything to do with IPW. I contacted you
straight away when I brought it.
Straight away when you brought him. Said,
Yep.
Right, come down here. I need to talk to you. We need to meet. I want to get him out of the school.
Yeah, and we did that straight. And me and you met within what? The next day, wasn't it?
We met the next day. You're obviously a father of three.
Two, not three, and hopefully never three.
Oh yeah,
Don't tell my wife.
You've got two young girls.
Yeah,
And
young.
so I approached you as a friend and someone I know and trust, and as a father, and it didn't take you long to say, well, this can't go on.
No, absolutely not. Because for me, obviously, the one thing, I do take your words very seriously. So when Stu wants to talk to me, I'm going to listen, especially if it's advice on something so serious. The only one thing I couldn't do is I couldn't publicly make a big statement. I couldn't do much without, you know, damning evidence in front of me. You know, then that was the one thing I couldn't do. I want to make it clear, I brought IPW not because of what Dan Edler done. Because let's be frank, Dan, he might have been the owner, but that company had its best years when Andy Corden was booking it. Without a doubt.
Yeah, because he wasn't spunking money on fucking gambling and drinking.
Exactly. And on top of that, I brought it because of the guys from that company, the guys that work from that company. I brought it for their history, not for his history, not for any individual promoter's history, but for what those guys did in the ring, not anything else outside it. So because
it was the closest thing that this country's had to the FWA, wasn't it?
Without a doubt.
The FWA at its time was great.
Yeah.
And after that left, IPW kind of filled the hole, for want of a better word, nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And on top of that, you know, I looked at it and thought it wasn't in the greatest of shape when I purchased it. And I looked at it and I wrote up a business plan of what I could do if I did.
I was amazed, I'll be honest.
I know you was.
I was staggered.
I know you was. And you know, we can talk about that on there too. And because I think we should, because I made a business plan of what I could do with the reach that company has and the deals it had in place and what I could do to elevate where it was, reclaim some of its old glory and kind of push forward and make it a better place. And so I had that business plan in place. I made the offer. I brought the company. I say I brought the company. I brought the assets. There was no company to buy, to be honest with you, Stu. You know, International Pro Wrestling Limited is a company owned by me. So, it's IPW is a company, okay, that I do things the right way. But all I did was buy the assets. venue relationships and whatnot, and the video library. So we met. We won't say any names, but you told me some stuff which, as a father, was horrible to hear, like horrible to hear. And a lot of that stuff is public knowledge. It's out there, and it's not nice. But obviously, without searching for something like that, and without anyone telling me, I would have never known it. And it alerted me to be concerned. Concerned about what could happen, or if it. I'm not knocking. First, I want to make it clear that I'm not knocking the victim potential. It's not about. It's not about me doing that, but without concrete evidence in my hands, it was like, how the F do I deal with this?
Did you find that it swayed your business mind from taking on that acquisition and buying that company, that perhaps it could be tied to this? What do we put it? This
scandal.
The scandal. That's
absolutely
exactly the word. Yes.
Yeah. No. To be honest,
give us your thought
to be honest, Tanya. With regards to what's going on at IPW, no, and I'll tell you why I believe this, okay?
This is why you haven't changed the name?
Yeah, this is why I've not changed the name, this is why I will not change the name, because the values we've put in place since my purchase, the change, look, I know it's only a little thing, but I changed the logo from silver to gold for a reason. It was symbolic of, I want to put a gold standard out there. We are better than the past. We're cleaner. We have a set of beliefs and values that I'm so strongly believe in. But at the same time, IPW as a brand in ring, if you look back at it, for me, it's second to none as a product. Not in the last 2 years that he had, which were his kind of years as such, but in the previous years to that, in the years of Andy Corden, who has gone on to do Rev Pro and do an incredible job with Revolution Pro Wrestling, and and massive hats off to him. But I felt, if we are smart about this, I cannot erase him, because we shouldn't be erasing him. He should be
learning from him.
I'm not here. It's all alleged, and there's obvious things out there in the public domain that people can have their opinion on, and I'm not here to kind of say something that will get me in trouble.
No,
but I'm here to be very clear that any stuff like that, whether it's from him and a couple other people that have currently been shamed, someone else who owns a wrestling promotion in the Midlands,
we can say Tom Russell.
Okay, we can. Okay,
you can say,
we've proved.
You just can't say that he has a preference.
Okay.
You can't say the P word.
Okay, cool. Well, Tom and us, and I've been privy to
other things that we've seen.
Because obviously, it's
all police evidence.
It is.
It's all out there.
And I feel disgusted by it. I feel disgusted by the people, and it's not down to just one promotion. It's industry. It's industry problems. And as an industry, we have to deal with this. There's going to be the former IPW owner. Remember, Ring of Honor went through a very similar thing. They went through a very similar thing in 2005. And I was speaking to a former worker of the company there, who was there at the time, and he was telling me all about how that potentially could have affected those. Now, don't get me wrong, IPW is no Ring of Honor. Not at that level at all yet. But over the last 6 to 8 months, what we've done with that brand and how we've positioned that brand, it's been positive. I'm going to get... This week has been the craziest week of my life, and I'll tell you why, Stu. This stuff has come out right now, but at the same time this stuff coming out, so much good has happened for IPW this week that I can't talk about publicly. Like, the biggest companies in the world, in our world, have reached out to me. I've got offers to do certain things with those big companies. I've got praise from British wrestling legends coming to me and praising me for what I'm doing and how I'm handling myself. There's about 6 deals on the table for me that I would never have dreamed of. And it's because of the buzz we've built with the rebrand of IPW. This isn't the IPW of old. I made it very clear.
Do you think it might be due to the fact that you've come and ousted a potential nonce as well?
No, because this is before that. Like, before this stuff happened before it came properly, what was it, Wednesday or whatever?
Do you honestly think IPW is that worth it?
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Because Fight Nation was building ahead of steam.
Yeah, totally, it was, but I feel...
But is it mainly, your driving force mainly because you've bought the library and there's nothing you can do with rebranding that?
It's not that at all. It's really not. I don't want to discredit everybody, because he was one person in that organisation.
Yeah.
I don't want to discredit the work so many people have put into over the years with that company. One person doesn't represent the company what it is today, and it does not represent those guys. And I will. So
you'd be reticent to kill all that hard work just for the state of that guy?
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Because anyone who watches what we're doing now, and my attitude to what we do, you know, I said it, and I got in the ring at the. I don't really get. Well, I am this whole IPW versus Defiant thing, but that's another story for another day. But with me, I'm very much a behind the scenes guy. I like that, and that's the way I like to be. It's changed a little bit over the last couple of months.
Nobody ever used to see you, did they?
No, I hide in the back and you know, very polite and it's a business to me.
Yeah.
I'm not there to hang
You're
out,
not there for them
play with the boys in the back.
No,
Totally not. But I got into the ring at the start of the Undisputed show before the cameras were put on, and I told everyone in the crowd that IPW isn't, you know, it might legally be my company, but it's not. It's our company, and what we do is for all of us, and we're trying to create a large community that believes and feels wrestling how I feel wrestling and how my company perceives wrestling. So I don't want to destroy that for them, because I don't think it's fair. And I think this one guy, who I hope never ever contacts me again, I want to make that very clear. If he hears this, or people that know him clearly, do not contact me. Do not reach out to me. What you have been alleged to have done, this is not the first time someone's come forward, as we know.
I would say that you are being very thorough in using the word alleged, but we have all seen the proof at this point. So you don't need to do that. You just can't use any ends.
Okay, I just don't want to be sued.
As long as you don't do those two things.
I think the one good thing, Bill, something Tan pointed out the other day when we were recording the opening of this, is that you've been very, very proactive in the way you've dealt with this. Yeah. I think you dealt with this the right way.
Thank you.
And that's why we put over IPW. And like I said, not everyone is going to want to come see your product. Not everyone's going to want to come see my product. But I think we both work fairly close in geography to each other.
Absolutely.
And I would certainly recommend people who want to come and see that style wrestling, I'd recommend them to go and see you guys any day. Because of the way you've handled this, I think it's done you a huge power of good.
I think our listeners should know that actually I've been privy to some screenshots of you.
Oh, really?
And it is regarding Ryan, who has approached me regarding the Edler incident.
Yep.
And also has spoken to you as well. And I mentioned we were doing this, and she showed me your conversation, and I hope that it causes neither of you to any embarrassment, but I would like to say thank you for handling that with absolute your professionalism and kindness, and for a youngster in the business that is dealing with their own issues and going through their own problems as well, to have to be in this situation, that they could reach out to you in this fashion, and that you dealt with it in that way. I would like to thank you as well, because in this climate, the way things are at the moment, it is a lot of toxic energy, and Stu and I have been batting it backwards and forwards and helping these people, and real steadfast allies that are doing the right thing and going about things the right way, and not doing it for, I'm just going to get a few extra Twitter likes because I'm going to name some or that any proof, and that people that are actually providing care and support and just actual fucking help to anybody that has experienced this with either Daniel or anybody else. The fact that you have been a steadfast ally, that you sprung to action, and that you did it with class and with care, I would like to thank you very much, and I'd like that on record, because it means a lot. And I didn't think that the little Billy Wood that I met would be, all those years ago, would be capable of all of this stuff. But then, I guess everybody at this table could say this about everybody at this table.
Oh, agreed. Look, you don't have to thank me, because I'm a big believer in it should be the least level of kind of support. You know, I am so proud of these people that have come forward. Okay,
Agreed.
There shouldn't be a witch hunt, and I'm scared that might happen. That's the one thing I'm worried about more than anything else, because anyone
will use a scandal to push their own agenda.
Absolutely, and I've seen Facebook statuses.
We've seen stuff that's potentially that, haven't we?
Yeah, I bet.
We have to be careful. Yeah, you know, there's it's like a net cone. Some of it falls away, but some of it sticks.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I've seen some names pop up that, without evidence, I would never, ever believe. Exactly. So I'm not going to sit here and go, everyone that comes forward and says rah, rah, rah is true to start with. And I'm just so proud of the people that have come forward. Some might not have evidence because, you know, they use Snapchat or these other things that hide things. Now, my advice would be, if you're using things that disappear, go to your settings and make sure that every conversation comes up is saved, because protect yourself first and foremost, and then you know any private conversations, try to document everything you can if you believe anything's bad. And to the workers out there, use social media, public social media, in a way that it's meant to be used. Your private stuff, do it private in a professional and safe manner. Do not get sucked in. Be a fucking human. Do you know what? Deal with these things in the right way. You know, as a father, to read some of the things, and I'm not going to go and mention workers' names because I don't think it's fair to go into that. But to read some of these things, and you know, some people that I've been around, that have been to my shows, and it really upsets me.
It's horrible, isn't it, to know. I found out one last night who's someone I've been in the ring with on Fight TV, where I've just come out of the ring with. And we found out it was nonsense. His two younger sisters.
Actually, it was four counts.
4 counts.
4 counts.
And we've got court documents to fucking prove it. We're going to be announcing him. Someone who did the TNA tryout with Tan.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
someone that I comforted when they ripped him apart, and he cried. And I was like,
Al Snow, Samoa Joe ripped him apart, and he cried. Cried on TNA.
Like, don't let these people see you cry. Like, Gail Kim tried to bully me, and I offered her out for a fight. That's how you deal with it.
Yeah.
So Tan's comforted this motherfucker. Now we find out he's done this. So, like you say, But I mean, from taking all that away, the fact that is that you've bought IPW, you didn't know this was going on. The fact that you did, the fact that you've ousted him, and the fact that you've worn it, and said, no, we're going to carry on doing this. It surprised me. I now understand why you've done it, having spoken to you. I think it's very fucking brave, and I wish it to be a massive success. I genuinely mean that.
This year alone, Stu, you know, our first show of the year is next week. It's sold out. First time in 24 years you have a WWE champion versus a New Japan champion, current champions. You know, of course it was going to sell out, but looks like an amazing promoter. But you know, things like things like that. We have great relationship with Billy Corgan and Dave Lagana with the NWA. We have the NWA's World Championship coming over, and we'll be on our February show in Milton Keynes, which tickets just went on sale for. We've got some amazing, you know, we're doing the Clapham Grand in London. We're celebrating Doug Williams' 25 years in the business on that show. You know,
I bet Doug won't be. He's so miserable now.
Yeah, he is miserable.
Everyone will be celebrating apart from Doug.
Yeah.
All he cares about is looking like a rotisserie chicken and smashing my vagina. That's a physical break, not a sex thing. I'm not exposing Doug. He does that himself.
Yeah, so your celebration of Doug will just be Doug sitting there looking miserable backstage like he always does.
In a really comfortable cardigan.
He does like a cardigan.
He's like the wrestling Val Dunican.
You know, Doug's one of my you know, I would say Doug's one of my favourite wrestlers.
Doug's one of the... I think it's a travesty. Well, I've said it before, haven't I? Mm-hmm. I think it's...
Say it again. Go
I
on.
think it's a crime that Doug was never big in WWE. I
Absolutely.
think Doug should have been up there with Regal.
I feel
I
with
really
Doug.
do. I mean that.
No, I don't disagree with that. You know, when he told me it was 25 years, first thing that sprung into my mind was Doug Williams versus Chris Daniels. I need to do that match.
Well, they're very close.
Yeah, and we're doing that match
That's
in March.
going to be a hell of a match too.
Yeah.
Doug's very close with Chris.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah, so those guys will be at the Clapham Grand on the 18th of March. Not trying to sell tickets on here or not, but, you know, it'd be great.
That's way before us. Can I come and fly?
You're more than welcome to.
Give everyone a link where they can get...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure. You know, Facebook... Everything's verified, so you know, and that's another thing. You can trust us if you've got anything to bring to us.
I might myself. I'd like Chris Daniels and Doug's a cracking man.
Come along.
Doug and his stupid face. Fuck him.
Right, he might break Chris Daniels' fanny that night as well.
Come along.
It's a cracking, nice match that.
And you know, just to go back to the point of what Tanya said about these, you know, the victims and helping those guys, and which we are. You know, our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram accounts are all verified. They're verified accounts. You can reach us on all of them at IPW UK. Our website's ipwuk.com. We want to support. You know, right now it's not about us. You know, that lovely, you know, she's not Day. Well, you know, Day is a very, very brave person, and I've just, you know, Day came to me and said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Of course, it's not about me." Mm-hmm. You know, my concern is, are the victims okay? You know, what can we do for them, and as an industry, what can we do to eradicate this and eradicate the people that have done this? I've not slept much, Stu. I've not slept. I'll be honest with you. I've been up very late at night most nights. One, because I sent Chris Hatch to Florida, which was to. Was
that by accident?
No.
Is that so he can swim with dolphins?
We sent him. We had some business with Impact, so he went over to Impact tapings last couple of days. So
good old Chris.
Yeah, good old Chris.
Chris for ages.
He done the trip for me. Chris helps massively with IPW, massively, and
Chris is a good guy.
Without him, I couldn't do what I do. So massive props to him and Sarah.
Yeah,
but there's that, and you know, I've been chatting to some of these victims, and I just, as a father, it sits with me. So I don't know. I've not been resting. I don't think I can rest easy until we get rid of these people.
Well, you're in the same boat as us, mate. Like I said, Julia Sarai came to me and said, you know, Stu, you're taking on a lot. This is going to be toxic. This is going to be difficult. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
So Tana and I have been very, you know, I laid this on your doorstep as well, which was it wasn't a nice thing to do, but like there's only one way I could do that with you, and that was to meet you face to face. I couldn't do it over the phone. I couldn't do it via text. I couldn't do it via email. It had to be me and you sitting down like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And so, but one thing that we did speak about earlier, and I really want to talk about now, is last night we were discussing with a couple of other people that run schools about having to change the syllabus and the way that we teach. Obviously, we teach the nuances of pro wrestling and gimmicks and how to sell yourself your character and be your own agent, but also dealing now. We get, you know, because we got young people involved, dealing with the pressures of this. So, can you tell us about when you stepped in the ring at your school and the things you said to your guys?
Yeah,
hold fire there, and let's be more inclusive than just the young people. Everybody.
It's everybody. It is everybody.
You know,
right, yeah.
When I met with Stu, at the same time, it was the kind of crossover period of me taking over IPW and the remaining shows that Dan has, and Dan also was meant to still run the school. So you can imagine me leaving the conversation with you feeling pretty shit, to be honest. You know, not shit. I was happy you told me.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you bought a massive white elephant.
Absolutely. So I was thinking, oh my god, right? How am I going to deal with this in the most professional manner? Because ultimately, I hold myself accountable at the way I act and the way I deal with my situations. So I was like, right, I've got to deal with this the correct way, and it's got to be proactive in the sense of how people should be treated and how people should not be concerned or worried by the pressures of power or manipulation, because that should never happen.
Did you find it difficult walking into that atmosphere the first time knowing
No.
what you knew?
No.
Did you just have a clear
I had a clear mindset. I had a completely clear mindset.
Give us that
Yeah.
thought process. Give us like the Billy thought walking in.
Well, I left Stu.
That
And
boiling pot.
I left
Did we
Stu.
met on the Saturday?
Yeah, I left Stu at the gym where we first met.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
It was.
It was when old who was it who ran the gym at the time?
It was still Sue
Sue,
Kennedy.
Sue's
back
yeah.
there now.
Oh, she's back there now.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should.
Yeah,
try
we
the
were
gym.
literally yards from our first meeting.
Yeah,
I
we
believe
were.
they've put statues of us there.
They should.
Yeah.
So after that, I went back home and I spoke to my wife, and I was just like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do. How do I do all this? And she's like, deal with it the way you always deal with things. Just deal with it. Do the right thing. Just try and do the right
Get
thing.
kidnapped by the Attitude Era.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Hi, Raven. So I thought, right, okay, I've got to go to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
So you were focused?
Purely focused. I was purely focused because
Did you go in there as a father? Did you go in there as a promoter? How did you set yourself?
I went in there fully with both mindsets. Really, I went in there like I've paid money, so it's a business.
Yeah.
That's business first.
Yeah.
But with a heart. Business with a heart is the way I treat my business. So I went in there. He wasn't there, and I told them simply. I said, look. In this bit, I said, I now own IPW. If anyone's got any problems, they come to me. If anyone's got any problems with how anyone's treated, they come to me. Do not be afraid of anything affecting your spot. The way you get on my shows isn't by who you drink with, isn't by who you are friends with. It's by you fit in the criteria and are ready to get onto my shows. And I said, some of you are already on the IPW shows, and you're not ready, and you won't be on the shows going forward. But it's for the betterment of IPW, and anyone can see that based on the quality of output of shows we put on the last 6 to 8 months. So I went in there with that mindset, and I said, look, if you have a relationship with someone in the school, I want to know. Not because I want to be a bloody nuisance, but I need to know these things, you know. And I think we all do. I think we all need to know, and I think because it's meant to be a professional environment, it needs to stay a professional environment. You know, anyone who feels pressure to do something they don't want to do, I want to know. Anyone who has an allegation potentially or could in the future, come to me. I will help. Doesn't mean you're not going to be welcome at IPW. I don't see people as a nuisance, and I was making it clear to them. You coming to me isn't you being a troublemaker. You coming to me is making me clear of the problems that you have, and to make this a better place. You know, number one, I want this place to be a safe environment. And that was my thing. Safe, healthy and happy. Because ultimately, these guys, they spend money to train, okay? They spend money to train and they're investing in themselves. We have a duty to work out who's keen to actually progress professionally and get them to where they need to get to. And we also have a duty to the ones that aren't, be professional to them, to tell them at a certain level. And if it's a hobby, continue. But you're going to stay in this set level of class and not make it up. But at the same time, you're not making it upgrades because you're girlfriends with the trainer, okay? Or you're boyfriends with the trainer, or you're drinking buddies with the trainer. No. Doesn't work like that. That was my attitude to it. My attitude was that everyone needs to have the right. I think they're I don't think they're called CRB checks, or they might be. They changed the name, didn't they?
Changed them now,
so everyone needs that. I didn't want the school to have any under 16s in it. I just didn't. I didn't feel. Not because it would affect me. I'm not a trainer, you know, but I just felt a little bit more kind of.
It's the same way with us.
Yeah, I didn't want that, but I still wanted everyone to be checked. I wanted a first aid trainer at every session. You know, I heard a story of someone breaking their arm, and there was no first aid trainer there. Like, what the fuck is that about? Not having it. You know, if you go to my shows, I have free medics at my shows, free, provided by Chris Appleton, and and any problems, we're good. Just to be safe.
Yeah.
And the same should be for the school.
Of course.
So there was a lot of things I wanted to put forward, and Dan was running the school at the time. I couldn't go to him and go, I've heard X, Y, Z about you, fuck off, because it would have fucked my deal that I had in place in writing. And without proof in my hands, there was nothing I could do. So I had to be smart. I had to do it the right way and get rid of him the right way. And we did that. It took a little bit more time than I wanted it to, but we did it. And then he left and set up Spotlight, which pretty much was he took the IPW trainees on and carried on. Well, he took them to his school. At the time, we didn't have an IPW school, so it didn't. It bothered me, but it didn't bother me in the sense of it's not my problem. In the sense of it's on my watch, but I did make it very clear that where you train to people that were still helping at our schools will affect where you go in the business. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of great schools out there, that where Greg Burrows trains, that London School of Lucha Libre, Daryl's school, the Knuckle Locks, great school. You guys here on the coast, there's the Knights. Come on, there's loads of people.
You've got some cracking schools.
Absolutely, you got Zach Gibson up north. You got schools everywhere. Maybe probably too many schools, to be honest.
But the good ones
will do well.
Will always do well.
Absolutely. So my thing was, that's how I felt, and that's my attitude. I used to follow up that attitude many times. We have a UK, an IPW team page where a lot of the trainees were on it. A lot of my team are on it, and I would completely always put over the message: if anyone has had anything that affects them, I will not tolerate any sexual harassment. I will not tolerate any sexual advances. I will not tolerate this, and this. Come to me. And some guys would say, oh, this person is da-da-da. But it was just never enough for me to take that further with him. He wasn't nothing to do with me by this point. But still, these allegations just wasn't enough. And then when this brave young lady came out, I was very, very proud of, lady, that, Dave.
When they came out.
Sorry, can we just explain that, because people might think I'm just going crazy.
So Ryan, I hope that they won't be embarrassed or have any.
No, they wouldn't.
I think that they would be happy for me to tell everybody that they are agender. So the they pronouns, they, them, their are the correct pronouns. So if there is any misgenderification going on or misgendering, it is absolutely not meant maliciously.
Yeah, totally.
It's just everybody here trying to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Against our own programming.
So many times I've said she, and obviously I meant they.
That's
but
right.
when Rihanna came out, because before she did, she sent me some messages, which I said, look, if you're doing this, we support you. Number one, we support you. And that's it. No, there's no two ways about it. We support. And they came out, and I didn't message him.
Yeah.
I did message him. I don't really want to say his name much more because it makes me feel sick.
What's it like? I don't want him to appear behind me in a mirror.
No. And also,
allegedly, I'm too old for anything to happen.
Let's be frank. I'm not. Maybe a private conversation shouldn't be said, but I did call him out and say, why? Why? Because I'm a father.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. It's like Tom Russell. I want to. I think that's still he's in my friend request bit. I've not confirmed him, but
I wouldn't bother now.
No, totally not. But I'm tempted to click confirm and ask why. Because for me, I can't understand these people. I can't.
Honestly think that you're going to get?
No, I won't.
You get the same.
It will be.
I won't.
It's not me.
Yeah.
And do you know Tan actually got this right? She said there's a pattern of behaviour that they all follow. Mm-hmm. And it's the panic.
I'm going straight to the police.
It's always straight to the police.
Okay, well that's right. But what they don't understand.
And they try to discredit you. Then they get angry. Then they get threatening.
Well, that's it.
And it always follows the same pattern. And every single person who I've spoke to, accused or not, has done the same.
Well, that's the thing. And I'm very proud that I can sit here and know full well 1,000,000% that you know, I'm sitting with good people that nothing will come out about because we all believe in acting a certain way.
Literally, whatever's going to come out about us is that we've had some fucking great parties.
Awesome.
And had some adult fun, so enjoy.
Had some adult fun with other adults.
You know,
and one dwarf, but there you go, she was also
that was
an adult.
dwarf.
There you go.
And that was you.
You know, for me, you know...
You confronted him about it?
I did.
And what he said to you was, I better go and lie low.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not the way you deal with these things, is it? Let's be honest.
But you were just horrified that when he said again.
Yeah, I was. You know,
and how the fuck... It just shows, Bill, doesn't it? How weak this fucking industry is, that it's been allowed to pass already numerous times. You know, without anyone doing anything.
I would like to know, Bill.
Yeah.
That on that note, whether you think that it is because the industry doesn't want extra eyes on it, whether it's that we don't want the apple cart upset because, you know, we're happy and this is how it's always been and we don't want anything to change, or whether it's just easy to suffocate these young voices, which is an absolute insidious, fucking disgusting behaviour. But what is it about not all of this community, because everybody at this table is an example that is not the fucking case of all of us. Not everybody in this community, but some members of our community that don't seem to understand that the wrestling business, that business means that it is your job and you act professionally at your fucking job.
Absolutely.
But why do you think that there is even just this fucking resistance, and this movement hasn't been absolutely and totally fucking embraced? Because everyone should be transparent.
They should, yeah. It's a bit of a hard one, really. I remember you brought up, you know, you've had messages in the past. Oh, this is how, you know, it used to be back in the day, like Mad I remember coming into business and Mad Eli.
Shaky.
It was always a fucking joke.
Eli used to send up me bloody badges.
Yeah,
do you remember, crazy?
He's a friendly old guy, you know, who's there with his Mac on and his badges on his hat and his band of fucking lunatic fucking people who used to go around with him. But at the end of the day, he liked kids.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
But it was only Eli.
And I feel like, you know, going back to, and you know, I've never reached out to, I won't say her name, the one that came out very publicly about Dan. Yeah. And her father, who have been very public about it.
You won't say their name, but I will say that is Jess and Joe Blakeney.
Okay.
And if you haven't read their stories, any of our listeners that haven't and aren't aware, please do get aware, because these are the guys that approached us the first time to whistleblow on this bastard, and it was the case that it was very easy for that poor young girl to have her voice absolutely shouted over, to be discredited, to be like, oh, she was drinking with the boys, oh, she sent news. It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
A young, impressionable, underage girl that was abused, that was groomed, and that was assaulted.
Yeah, totally. And you know, I've wanted to reach out to them, and I haven't. One, maybe they won't want to hear from me, and I respect their privacy. Not that I've done anything wrong, but at the same time, you know,
have you, Billy? Have you?
Categorically not.
Okay,
categorically not. But you know, and also they're part of the IPW family, and at the same point, I don't want to overstep the line there too.
No, not at all.
But you know, at the time, I felt that way. But I the fact that she was ignored, you know, some people can turn their heads and say, oh, well, you know, Dan didn't get in trouble for it, or didn't, which I understand, because he didn't, did he, at the time? No. Doesn't mean she was lying. It doesn't mean she, but certain people, like when I met you, because I didn't have enough proof, I had to be very kind of publicly, kind of.
The screenshots that have come out of they've. You know,
now, yeah, totally. But at the time when we were speaking,
before it was very difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But it needed someone to stand strong.
It did, and you know, I feel like back then I don't think people want to say rock the boat. I guess in the sense of create problems. Like for example.
I believe that they did. I believe that it was easier just for her to be silent so that everyone could carry on doing their shows, doing their foxy little WrestleMania finishes and like feeding their own egos, because that's more important than fucking actually listening to a girl that was reaching out and that needed help.
I reckon.
And when she came to me, I had to fucking take her under my wing. Like,
you did great, guys. You did great.
It broke my fucking heart that this business could do that to anybody.
It was. I can tell you now where we're sitting. Can I just finish,
please? Sorry, can I just finish? There are people that are listening to this now that knew about that, that saw it, that did nothing, and you know who you are, and fucking shame on you. Shame on you, and I hope that you fucking carry it in your heart and in your soul just for the rest of your fucking life. Shame on you for what you did to that girl.
We sat here at this very table, Bill, and we had Jess sitting there, and she sat there very, very bravely.
I'm taking the last piece of
No, you carry on, dude. That's our,
you eat the snacks, boy.
That's hospitality. Yeah, feed him up.
I'm gonna.
But she sat here and she cried, and some of the guys cried with her.
Yep.
Some of the guys then went on to have to wrestle for IPW the following day for Dan Edler.
Yeah.
And that.
And you offered to pay them twice the amount.
Yeah, that hurt, man.
I bet it did.
That hurt because these are friends of mine. These are people who are, people I've travelled with and been on the road with for years. And, it was fucking. It was very difficult.
No,
but I'm just glad. I'm glad those days are gone. I don't believe that he's ever going to be allowed back into the wrestling circles again.
Yeah.
I think with your help and the philosophies that you're putting out there now in IPW, he's certainly never going to be allowed into an IPW arena or ring ever again.
No, totally not.
And I believe that's... I like to think that, we have made a fucking difference in this short space of time.
I think we have. It does confuse me in a sense of why people did that, and what you're saying, I completely agree with.
There's a type of guy, from what I can see, but I'm not going to keep you on there for too long. We've done nearly an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow!
Here. I know it's flown. I think this has been really important so far, and I'd like to get you back another time.
Yeah, totally.
To talk on a bit more of a positive level, because obviously
sure.
This has been quite downbeat. But I'd like to invite you back again to do another chat on here to talk about your wrestling philosophies and your future aspirations. But just to finish up, I think it's really important that we keep going. I think it's going to be the tip of the iceberg. I don't think we've got anywhere near. We're getting stuff daily. Tan is obviously more approachable than I am, so Tan's receiving stuff on Twitter every day. I think you're probably going to end up receiving stuff as well, Bill.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think...
I'm sure we will. And you know what? The one thing that I want to make very clear, any promoters, more than anything else, that have been doing these things, treating people a certain way, I think we've all heard certain things about people without any proof. But anyone that finally, your time's up. If you've done these things, it's gonna come out about you. So you can sweat all you want. Keep sweating, because do you know what? If you've done these things, people will speak, and good, and so they should, because we need to stand up. It doesn't matter what position they have in this business. It doesn't matter if they run one show or they run 150 shows a year. Whoever they are, they need to be put right. And it doesn't matter how big the wrestler is either. It doesn't matter if they're a draw for you or if they're first on or they're a trainee. Anybody doing this will be caught. They will be caught. And we as an industry have to take every allegation seriously. We have to have proof. Mm-hmm. Number one, we have to have a level of proof for it to be seen through. And we have to do something about these guys or girls. Whoever, and I think, and I'll make it clear, this isn't just vulnerable young women.
No, it's absolutely not.
No.
If what I received yesterday is anything to go by, it's certainly not vulnerable women.
Yeah, totally. And I think we have to be clear here that everyone's protected in the sense of we will get to the bottom of every single situation, and it will be dealt with most professionally and the right way, with the police. Like a lot of these cases have now been, with your guys' help. So massive thanks to you both for that. But we have to.
But it's not about that, is it? It's just like all of us here want to clear up this element. Just
ultimately,
for the betterment for the future generations, but also for we are, to coin Stu's phrase, we are in a golden age.
We are
of British wrestling right now. So if we do not act harshly on this, if we do not stamp on this, this is what is going to sully what is this absolute boom for us, this absolute fucking mecca of business. British wrestling is the hottest it's ever been. We are producing the best talent.
Yep.
We are putting on the best shows. We have the best scene in
We've got the
world.
best exports too.
In the world, okay? And that is something to be fiercely proud of. So unless we all work together to do something about this fucking element, this fucking controversy is going to be the thing that is remembered, and not our hard-working boys and girls. And that is just fucking.
We don't want to go. We don't want to go back to those days of shows with 20 people turning up. You know, I'm so proud that I can sit here and tell you that, you know, right now with IPW, the social media numbers, the reach of our posts are in the six. You know, they're six figures. You know, we're hitting 150,000. You know, massive numbers. You know, like I said at the start, it's been a bit of a crazy week for me because there was so much positive at the start.
But I've noticed, I speak to a lot of guys. I've got a lot of contacts in Florida, where I used to live, and you know, people like Ron Neamy and the guys that were the talent agents at TNA. I speak to a lot of those guys, and there's always the names that come up from the UK. So it's IPW and Rev Pro.
Yeah.
And you guys are getting a lot of hits on I think it's XWT, the Torrents page.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting out there.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you know, it's not just my hard work, but as you say, it's the great workers that we have, and a great industry that we've all created.
You've got a wonderful talent roster. Some very close friends of ours. I mean, James Castle.
Yeah. Who
I rate massively.
Yeah, me too.
James is enormous, but my favourite one of all is Kip.
Kip Saban,
yeah.
Kip, I think within the next 2 years we're going to lose Kip.
I bloody hope not, because he's an absolute darling on my shows.
Man,
yeah.
I would.
You can hope not.
No, of course. I want Kip to do well.
Kip's the most talented and nicest lad.
And he's our son.
Yeah, Kip's the nicest kid in the job, and probably the most talented at the moment.
Yeah, no, with Kip, just to give you...
I just wish he didn't live so fucking far away.
Yeah, I know.
And have that stupid fucking haircut.
But he always smells so good.
He does smell nice.
Well, yeah.
He's a good kid.
He actually does smell well.
Billy, and I don't want you...
No.
I do not want you showing him bright lights, big cities, edge with dreams.
You're putting stars in their eyes, mate. That's what you're doing.
He's going all the way to the top, that kid. He's going all the way to the top.
He's not going to be the next Dizzy Temper or whatever it's called.
No, he's not. He definitely is not, Stu. But you know, going to Kip, you know, he is a great talent. He's a regular. Well, actually, he's a mainstay at my shows. You know, and he's so over my crowds. You know,
he's awesome.
He's so over my crowd.
Phenomenal. But then so's Brad. Brad is a tag partner, Brad Ingram.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to bring Brad over.
Yeah, do.
To you, he'd fit in nicely with you.
And the thing is with Brad is like, Brad is massively
they tagged a
underrated.
special edition. Brad, seriously, you'd like Brad.
And he's so good.
You would like him a lot.
Right now, you know, this IPW, you know, I have a real like talent initiative with the young guys. You know, from the Maverick Mayhews to Connor Mills to Curtis Chapman to, you know, Jake, you know, Ashley Dunn, Kelly Six, Jake Garner, you know, it's Jake Garner. You know, all these guys.
Johnny Nines. Billy McSween. Who are these people? Who's throwing names at me?
But these kids are, you know, they're a different style, but they are kind of. What I'm doing is I'm saying, look, here's your opportunity to go out there and do what you can do, and they're all going out there and put on great matches for me. But you know, and that's the difference with that. We have those guys. We have the likes of Rob Sharp and Jack Sexsmith that are doing great things. You know, Rob is. Last year gone massive for me, you know. But you got that, and then you've got from on top of that, you've got, you know, your old school, like your Johnny Storms and Doug and whatnot, and then you have your Mark Haskins and you know, and that level.
I've always been a fan of Mark. I like Mark very much.
Mark Haskins is.
But it's funny you say the old school, like people like Doug and Mark, and they can hang with
absolutely,
those kids easy.
Absolutely, and that's the balance we're creating. You know, I'm a big fan of new school. And old school, you know.
It's funny that you call Mark Haskins old school.
No.
Really fucking old now.
Well, he's kind of getting it, but
Mark
Mark
when he was a fucking toddler.
Well, Mark is without a doubt. I feel like he's got his best years ahead, and he's without a doubt one of the greatest. I feel like he is one of the greatest talents this industry, the British industry, have produced in the last decade. Without a doubt,
there's a group of wrestlers. Some of the All-Star boys I've said before. Your Dean Allmarks, your James Masons. Like I say, Ligero, Haskins, Dave Minton, Big Dave.
Yeah, we've used Dave all the time.
Jody. All of those guys would have, back in the day, if it was like it was now, opportunities were like they were now, they'd have walked in the WWE with one hand tied behind the back. Yeah. And it's such a shame, and I feel like JC Ace, who just retired on our show, Jinx. Yeah. One of the greatest workers this country's ever seen, but in my eyes, never got the credit he deserved. There's so many.
I think there's a few like that, and you look at it and you think, what do these guys need? And it's the way the business is the business, right? Eyes are going to be on the progresses and the rev process. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, and we can't really do anything about that. But just keep pushing through, right? Yeah. So Kip last Wednesday was on the Progress show, and it was like, wow, Kip, you've made it, right? I'm sitting there thinking, well, hold on a minute, But that's the way the business is, and it is what it is, and we just have to continue doing what we do in our values, and
you're absolutely right.
And we will do what we want to do,
The thing is, if you're looking side to side to see what everybody else is up to, Billy, then your eye is not on yours. Your goal.
No, totally.
And that's one thing that you've learned now.
Absolutely. And IPW, the reason we went from silver to gold, and the whole rebranding, and the way our shows are, and the way it looks, and everything, because it's the vision that not just I can sit there and go I, and take all the credit, but I can't, because I have a production team that do a great job for me. Our shows aren't just turning up and putting on shows like based on because I want this person to work and this. We sit there and we go through production meetings. We go through how this is going to look on TV, or how this is, say TV on the show, and this is what's the final shot of the show? What do we want to capture? We really go into detail because it's a vision we're trying to create. We really are, and I'm really proud of it. Really proud, and I think I really believe, like I said, I was about to say, this week has been crazy, not just because of all these allegations, but because over the weekend and leading into this week, before the allegation popped, I remember I went to a football game. I came out afterwards and I was like, I had all these notifications of ticket sales, and I was like, what's going on? I looked on Twitter, on my own Twitter, and you have that moments, and there's a picture of Pete Dunne, and it said WWE versus New Japan Wrestling in London, in the UK. I'm scrolling through and looking at all these tweets. And everyone's going crazy over this announcement that we put out with Pete versus Will Ospreay. And we've made all Dave Meltzer, call me a Mark all you want, but Dave Meltzer's talking. Exactly. But all the wrestling media are talking about us.
Right.
And that for me was such a great thing. And then the highs and the lows, and then a day later after that, you've got these screenshots coming out, and it makes you feel so shitty because you're doing so many good things, and you've got certain major company offices messaging you and talking to you about licensing deals and then you get this and you think, why do these people have to dent potentially what we're doing? And I'm so proud that people have seen the difference between Edler and Spotlight and IPW, and that makes me proud, not because of disassociation to him, but because it means that we've done stuff right. And we will continue to push and do things right.
I'm proud of you, mate, because I've seen you from being young silly Billy, who we came to business with, and I've seen you grow. And like I said, I messaged you in the week, and I said, look, this isn't good, dude. I said, we're in this together.
Yep, you
I said, we're in this together now. You owe it to your fans and to British Wrestling to come on and talk. And I've been mighty impressed with you. As a promoter, as a friend, and as a man. I think you deserve a lot of credit, and I will happily promote your promotion. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for standing strong when a lot of people haven't. I think you deserve a lot of credit yourself, mate. So well done.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on. And let's not leave it so fucking long next time.
Next time I'm coming on, we're going to argue about philosophies of wrestling.
I'd love to.
Yeah, let's do that next time.
You can come on and agree that I'm right. But I love you lots, mate. And like I said, thank you ever so much. And I would like to tell all of our readers out there, get behind IPW, go and watch this motherfucker and his vision, and get right behind it. So,
thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, guys, for having me. And thank you for the ham.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth, you cock jazz. This is Stiff Right Hand.
Right, we're back here in the Room of Doom. That was my interview with Billy Wood, and fantastic that was.
Yeah, I actually I said off air, and I am going to say this about him on air, so it's forever on record. But the Billy that we were interviewing, or that you interviewed, and I was interrupting, but the Billy that was sat with us having that conversation was so engaging and so believable and passionate, and I absolutely found everything he said utterly believable, and I can see his vision, and I can see his enthusiasm absolutely balls everything. It comes over absolutely clear in everything that he says and does about his brand, about his love for the business and everything. So I think that we will see big things from Billy. And I'm looking forward to us doing a bit of business with him this year.
Well, we're going to do some business with him. We've had a little chat. We're going to...
Don't tell him. But it's going
I'm
to
not going to tell you. I want to tell you because you see you like that. Ain't none of your damn beeswax, see? But I'm very proud of the man he's become. Says years, light years ahead of the lad that he was when we first hooked up. But I like to think of myself that I was instrumental in his wrestling upbringing. So thank you, Billy, and keep spreading the
everyone
word.
turns out all right. That you're instrumental in their upbringing.
Most people, yes.
Yeah.
Most people, indeed. But look, that's quite enough of that. There's been an extra episode due to the nature of this week. We've had a lot to fit in, so we'll be back to normal as of next week. We've got another interesting night coming up on Monday. We're going to be presenting. Not presenting. We're going to be talking about some of these incidences on the Rock Show Live. But this won't drop by the time I start, so it's basically pointless what I just said. But
let me tell you about what happened to me in the co-op.
What?
Well, I had a really busy day at work today, right, and I was fucking knackered, and I thought, you know what? I've got wine at home, so I'm going to buy olives because I'm in my 30s and that's what you do. So I went into the co-op, and this massive group of kids went in there just before me, and this woman was working on the tills. And I was getting a lift time, so I was very conscious of not taking a long time because, someone was waiting in the car. And she's like, "Oh, bloody hell, you're just going to have to, what? Oh, will you help me watch these kids?" Like, why am I being fucking sheriff in the fucking co-op? Anyway, so I'm watching these kids to make sure that they're not thieving, and they're chucking stuff on the floor and everything, they're taking the piss. And anyway, this woman that works in the co-op does nothing, and I'm like, "Oi, pick it up!" And these kids just look at me. I'm like, "What? Pick it up." They pick up the shit, fucking tidy up, and then leave the co-op. And I was just like, I must have got to that age where, it's like that level of adult that you just don't even give them attitude anymore, because 9 times out of 10 before that, I would have got attitude. And this one was just like, thanks for doing that. It's like, lucky we live in such a small town, and we're such a community. I was like, well, I've just done your job, love, so can I have your wages? And she didn't think that was very funny. But that was what happened to me in the co-op.
Well, it's one of those stories where I guess you had to be there.
Yeah.
And the benefit of the hindsight of wine, maybe that story wasn't quite as good as you thought. But yeah, well done. I was hoping someone was going to get punched at the end of that.
No, it's just a thing that happened to me in the co-op.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But it's, other than that, it's been a great episode.
You're a piece of work. You're a real piece of work.
No, and you smell of wine.
That's because I've had a wine.
Yeah, more than one.
No, I've had one.
You're a lush and a tramp, Sue Ellen.
Well, you're a idiot.
But I'd like to thank my guest this week, Billy Wood. It's been a very important episode, and I do hope that you all continue to spread the word and watch the skies and keep. If you've got any problems you need to speak to me or Tarn about, contact me via Stiff Right Hand and contact Tarn on Twitter.
What's my Twitter
Extreme
handle?
Scarlet.
It is that. Well done.
If you've got any problems or
yeah, please come via my Twitter page if you can, because if you come via my Facebook page, chances are you're going to get like filtered out by all of my anti-filters.
So there you go. Thank you ever so much for listening again this week, and we'll be back at the same time next week. And in the meantime, don't go mad. Goodbye.
If you have been affected by another subject matter or topics covered on this week's Stiff Right Hand podcast, please call 0800 Go Fuck Yourself.